Good evening, everybody, and welcome. And we have some guests here tonight. Our Boy Scouts are working on some merit badges and Eagle Scouts, etc. So they're going to observe us tonight, but we'll talk about them in a moment. So, Ben, will you bring the meeting of October 25th, 2018 to order? Yep. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Chair.
Here.
Council Members Long.
Here.
Napolitani.
Here.
Shephaka.
Here.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Here. Everybody please rise for a pledge of allegiance, and then please remain standing for a moment of silent prayer thereafter. Thank you.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Okay. The notice requirement for the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice is sent to the Asbury Park Press Coaster and posted in office of the municipal clerk on December 27th, 2017. Hang on 1 second, let me get through this to my regular agenda. Here we are. Got it. There are two fire exits, one to my left, which will bring you out to the back parking lot, and one to my right, which will bring you out to the front parking lot as well. If you have a cell phone, now's the time to turn it off or turn the volume down. If you need to make a call, just kindly go out into the hallway where you can make your call, because we tape and archive the meetings. Everything gets picked up here, so if you're making a phone call, that ambient noise kind of interferes with the recordings here. Okay, so before we go any further, we're going to have some council reports. John, do you have anything for us today?
Yes, I do. Saturday, October 27th at 9 a.m. to noon, the Deal Lake Commission is having their annual cleanup of Deal Lake. Participants should meet at the boat ramp next to the 7-Eleven in Asbury Park on Main Street. On Sunday, October 28th, they have the annual Mile in Terry Foundation Fun Run and 5K in Avon by the Sea. That'll be held at 8 a.m. this Sunday. You can get information on their website. Halloween curfew will be in effect for anyone under the age of 18 every evening from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. beginning Monday, October 29th through 6 a.m. on Thursday, November 1st. On Sunday, November 4th, daylight savings time ends. You can turn the clocks back 1 hour. Change your smoke detectors and CO batteries. And don't forget, Tuesday, November 6th is Election Day. Please make sure you get out there and vote. Thank you,
John. Donna, anything for us?
Yes. A recap of the fall clean sweep, in which 62 school children and 44 adults participated. We collected 247 pounds of trash, 57 pounds recycling, and 76 pounds of bulk waste. The Oktoberfest got off to a little wet start, but once it started, it was a lot of fun. It had a lot of people there. The dinner, we only had about 45 people, but it was a successful day anyway.
We had about 1,000 through all day, right?
Yes.
That's good.
And then the paper shredding event was steady all day. We had a pretty big crowd for it. We don't have the numbers in from the county yet. The fall and winter newsletter is available on the website and on our Facebook page. Look for it in the mail this coming week. I think they're being mailed out tomorrow. This year's closing of the William F. Larkin Golf Course at Colonial Terrace has been moved back from October 28th to November 11th. We will be closing on November 11th. This Saturday, October 27th, from 9 to 11, members of the police department will hold a coffee with a cop event at Wegmans, as well as a medicine drop-off event there. Our prescription drop-off box is also available 24/7 inside our police department. And planning ahead, on Sunday, November 11th is Veterans Day, and we will have a ceremony here at Town Hall at 11 a.m. We will have a special presentation by the Historical Museum for the 100th anniversary of World War I ending.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you. Rich?
Yes, Mayor, I recently attended the Human Services Council and Drug and Alcohol Alliance meeting, which was held on Wednesday, October the 3rd. At that time, Judy Johnson spoke. She's our Director of Recreation. She talked about the very successful summer theater program. The students that participated were able to use the new black box theater at the high school. And she also reported that disc golf is going to be coming to Ocean Township. And the Pickleball League is currently in operation. That's all I have, Mayor.
Good, thank you. Rob?
Mr. Mayor, I attended a very, very long planning board meeting Monday night. We had a full agenda very quickly. There was a subdivision on Dixon that was denied. There was a subdivision on Roosevelt that was approved. The Krausers on Deal Road came in for to expand. They are going to be adding some square footage and adding some different what's the word I'm looking for? Franchisees in there.
Hopefully architectural features to the building,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That included?
Yeah, that is very much included, Mr.
thank
Mayor, along with improved signage and a couple of other improved parking lot
Awesome.
improvements around it.
Okay.
There was an expansion also proposed. That's going to get pushed to the November meeting. There was still more information that was needed. Brielle, in the industrial area, there's an expansion of building there, along with a warehouse. We heard initial testimony. They'll be continued in November. And finally, on Norwood and Jerome, there is a retail building that is looking for approval for retail establishments on the first floor and some offices on the second floor. Heard initial testimony, and that is also going to continue in November. So, long meeting, but very productive. So, that's
Great.
my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mike, anything?
I have no report.
Marty?
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, I have a couple things I want to get out there. October 12th, we celebrated our annual Stan Shadowski Day. That was probably in a coaster, did a good article on it. Stan was the guy who first sighted the Sputnik satellite in the skies, first guy in the world, or America, to find it, which was great because it gave us an opportunity to actually follow the satellite and actually to spy on the spies. It was pretty cool. So Stan did that, Ocean resident, still lives here. He celebrated his 90th birthday, so we're very honored to have Stan Shadowski as his own day, Stan Shadowski Day on October 12th. Also, our Super Senior Luncheon, right around the corner. It's November 1st. This is something we started a few years ago to honor our super seniors. Those are folks 90 and above. And we get about 50 to 100 come out. Last year we had about 100 attended. And so if you have a family member or I don't see anybody here who even adds up to 90, this whole front row. But if you know anybody, you're our guest. They could bring a guest. So it's for two people. It's a nice luncheon. It's at the Renaissance. It's 11 to 1:30, November 1st, Thursday. So another thing. Also, I mentioned that that when the proposed development for deal 35, as soon as they made application to come in, as soon as I got on an agenda, that I would let folks know. So I'm letting you know now that they do have slated for their preliminary hearing. Their first hearing is scheduled for the regular planning board meeting in December, on December 17th. So you're going to hear them bring an application in, and don't get frustrated if you don't get a chance to ask questions right away, because typically what happens on these applications, they do testimony first, and then you're able to ask questions of each professional when they conclude their testimony. That could take 2 meetings, 1 meeting, I don't know, it depends. So just let you know, but you're going to hear them. They've done something different. I was able to get them to agree to a potential land swap. And so what we're looking to do is, I have some storyboards down there as well, showing the one far to my right over here shows what it originally came in at 4 years ago with the 280 apartments and the commercial development and no road improvements and a lot of impervious. The middle board pretty much depicts what they want to come in at with the planning board, get an approval for the entire site. And the board to my left, or your right facing me, that's what the proposed swap would look like. Would eliminate the residential units here, most of them, and give us a lot of that land back. And then what we're going to do is we have 17 acres of land that we have to develop anyway to meet our COA obligation. And that's over behind Cindy Lane. So providing I can give them a clean building envelope and make it a fair exchange, we're going to make this land swap. They're also going to give us some time to perfect the deed and deliver them a building envelope that's suitable to them. So hopefully we can make that swap evenly with 17 for 17, maybe tweak it a little bit, but I'm confident this is going to happen that way. So I think that's good news for the town. We pick up the residential piece there, another 17 acres potentially, and it's right next to the library. So I think that's really cool. It keeps a habitat for all the wildlife, and something we've been working on for a while. Just I finally got it to turn. So it's like a boxing match. You got to wait for your openings before you take your shots. As you can see, I've taken one already. This is a full contact sport. Being a mayor, thought I'd let you know. So anyway, I just wanted to make that announcement. If you have questions about it later, you can come up to them. When we do our questions at the end, we can do that. Before we go any further, I just want to give a shout out. We have some Boy Scouts here. So Don from Troop 71, you want to come up and just tell us what you guys are here for, and then we'll get into our agenda and limp along. Oh, right. He does. Well, you need the mic just to be heard on our tape, although we can hear you a mile away. Yeah, you can.
Gaelic upbringing, I guess. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. My name's Don Patterson. I'm one of the Scoutmasters from Troop 71 here in Oakhurst, or Ocean Township. We have Scouts from Troop 71 and working on the Citizenship and the Community Merit Badge. It's one of the 3 citizenship merit badges that are offered by the Boy Scouts: Citizenship in the Community, Citizenship in the Nation, and Citizenship in the World, which are Eagle required merit badges that the boys have to work on. We've been fortunate in Ocean Township that the committee has allowed the Scouts to come in from the neighboring troops, Troop 70, Troop 71, and Troop 76, to get an eyeball of what goes on at the township meetings, to get an understanding of how the township government works. The merit badges include also kind of service projects they have to work on to benefit the community, learning about the local governments, and also sometimes interviewing some of the members of the committee. So you may get a chance to get
always available
a scout in a uniform. But I want to say thank you again for the support to the Scouts. Thank you for the citizens of this town that support the scouting organizations, both Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and the youth organizations that are so prevalent in this town. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much.
Thanks, Don. All right, guys, so pay attention. You're going to get a little civics lesson. And then if you have to leave to go watch, History's Best Channel or something like that, or the World Series or basketball, it's okay. We get it, but get some of that in. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah. So last meeting, Mr. Mayor, I announced that I had intentions of stepping down. I'd like to officially announce my stepping down as deputy mayor at this point, and I'd like to make a nomination to have Rich Long nominated as the new deputy mayor.
Okay. Take a roll call then.
You need a second?
We need a second.
Second.
Okay. Councilman Achara.
Yes.
Councilman Long.
Yes.
Councilman Napolitani.
Councilman Long, this is no reflection on you as a person. However, being that this is new to me tonight with the information, I'm going to vote no.
Councilwoman Shepherd.
No.
And Mayor Sistiano.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Rich, you want to come down? I'll administer the oath.
Sure.
Good meeting for the Scouts.
Do you have anybody to hold the Bible for you, Mr. Clerk?
Sure.
I have them. I know the oath pretty good, but I still have them. It's a short and sweet one, which is good. Okay. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. State your name. I
I, Richard Long,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey.
of the State of New Jersey.
I will bear faith, truth, and allegiance
I will bear faith, truth, and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of Deputy Mayor,
of Deputy Mayor,
Ocean Township,
of Ocean Township,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Mr. Clerk.
Sure.
All right, the purpose of the public portion is to solely ask questions, to understand resolutions and vouchers that appear on the agenda. It's not an occasion for a public hearing on the ordinance. All questions not relating to an item on the agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. Does anybody have any questions as to the consent agenda or the resolutions? Come up to the microphone now and state your name and address for the record. And the vouchers, of course, Mr. Geiger.
And good evening, Don Geiger, 1108 Grassmere Avenue. Let's start with number 9, all hands fire equipment.
Marty, number 9.
Number 9.
The Beatles. Number
Yes.
9, number 9.
Number 9. Clean
Marty's the only one that
com
would
code uniforms. How many uniforms?
I don't have the
Hopefully
exact.
9.
Could be.
Don't have the exact amount of uniforms, but it was equipment and different items for
Besides
the clean
uniforms?
communities. Yeah.
Okay. And then we had 3 tree removals, all saying hazardous. Were they on public property, private property, a mix? I mean, I see hazardous, but you know, we don't want trees falling on people or cars.
I'll take each one individually.
Okay.
Number 17, it was on Lake, one on Park, and one on Bimbler.
Okay.
Number 18, there was one on Elbron, one on South Edgemere, and one on South Ditmar. And number 19, that was just to clean up some trees on Poplar Village.
Okay. Thank you. And now, I don't know. Vince, I think you're in trouble. You say what's new. What is Athenian dialogue? Did
What
you go
number?
to Athens?
What number,
number?
Don?
I'm sorry.
39.
Number 39. And I mean, it's only $100, which is chump change. But I'm trying to figure out what the heck is this?
Yeah.
It just
What
goes
is it?
along with my my certification for my MMC.
Okay.
Just further education to keep
Further
that certification.
education. So you can be really educated.
All I
Maybe.
can do is try.
An erudite of clerks.
Yes.
That's been.
And number 45. What did Capture Point, or what's the subscription with Capture Point for, which cost us $10,245?
It's a software program that's affiliated with some of our finance programs.
Okay. Is that something like, you know, it goes up into the cloud and stays there till it rains?
Yes.
Okay. And number 52. I think I know what it is, but you can educate me, which I need a lot of. It says CE Union and then CEU course is continuing education?
Yes, it was for 3 of the Clean Communities employees.
Okay. Do they do it online or? I mean, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.
This one wasn't online. I don't remember exactly where it was.
Okay. But that's just for the tuition?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, moving on to the next page. I'll skip the dangerous tree. Custom Care Services Inc., number 75. August service for, and it was almost $2,600.
There were 9 trees on various roads.
Okay, so just more tree
Yeah.
taken care of. Okay, would have helped if this the trees, but hey. Now, I love this name for this company. Dude Solutions. Utility Track Plus for $689.94. What the heck did I do for that money?
That is our tracking software for public works.
Okay,
issues.
and it tracks their use of utilities, or
Any complaints that come in, any jobs that need to be done, that's
okay,
for tracking.
they track it.
Yep.
Almost anything. Okay, now can you help me out with the difference between 88 and 90 for recap? I mean, that's a pretty big jump between 3,800 on a round down and 12,000 for the recap. A lot of tires.
They had a lot more tires break. That's what it's for.
Yeah, I know. It just seemed like, whoa. And then, no disrespect to Donna, about the Grand Falloons and it's CC Public Ed for Fall Fest. A little bit over $2,000.
What number?
116. If I didn't say that, I apologize. I'll start to get with the program.
No, that is with Clean Communities. That was people that they had there stilt walking and a clown entertainment.
Okay.
And they were giving out information and there's stuff that they had. They were telling people about.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it goes along with Clean Communities.
Okay. 122. I'm trying to understand, was that for 3 separate things? Because it says fence. Wait a minute. Let me untie the tongue. Fence rail, trespassing, and Skinner. Whatever that
Skinner
is.
Drive is our senior complexes over there.
Okay.
Poplar Village, and so people were parking in that area all summer long, and so we had to hire keys to put a fence and security gate up and no trespassing signs.
Oh, okay. So it was one job, but they split it between what they were doing or something.
You were correct, sir.
Okay. Moving right along. 129. Headsets. Replacement of headsets for almost $590. Do you know how many headsets?
One headset for our dispatch.
One headset.
But it's for 2 years.
Yes.
Well, gee, what a deal! What a deal! Okay. And then 132. 3-post lift cylinder leak. 12,000. That's a lot of money.
That's one of the hydraulic lifts in the garage bay that lifts the trucks up. So the
Okay.
mechanics
And it needs to be really heavy duty to lift the truck.
Our strong man quit, so we had to get that lift.
The Jolly Green Giant went on vacation.
Right.
Okay. And 137. Can you tell me what Innovea Solutions did in the locker room areas for $344?
I believe it was just to fix some of the lockers.
Oh,
That was
okay.
it. Wasn't anything more than that.
Okay. And again, help me. Maybe we used them more than on. Wait a minute. Let me. 154 and 156. The roller base applications between July. Oh, it combines 2 months. That's why it's so much. Duh. I didn't look close enough. My apologies. My bad.
Okay.
And going on to the next page. Okay. Now I heard about the disc golf, so that's why we went into Lowe's Home Center and got paver project disc golf for $2,943.
Yes, that's to delineate where the baskets are and where you take, I guess,
The tee box area.
launch it from. Yeah.
Okay. That was one single unit or multi-unit?
No. That whole project's about $9,000 done.
$9,000.
Yep.
Where's the disc golf going to take place? Do you know?
Right there at Palais Park. There's different stations or holes or baskets throughout the park. 18 of them. And it's,
Okay. Okay. Now I'm surmising that Sharon Molesky, I think I'm close to pronouncing it correctly. If not, someone will correct me. Is new hire for Family Health Services, Human Health Services.
Sharon's a director.
She's a director.
Oh,
been
the
there a
director.
while.
Well, okay. And she's getting counseling materials, which I can understand. Office supplies, okay. And office furnishings. I mean, was there a problem with what was there?
They needed a new couch.
A new. Would you please lay on the couch?
Yes.
Okay.
Getting a lot of work over there. Right?
I'm not even going there with that. And then 228, 229, 230, and 231. Let's take the police department first. Frontline supervisor program. One person, two.
One person, it was Sergeant Flamia.
Okay. Then staff ride for LE leaders. How many staff?
3, including the chief,
Okay.
Sergeant Deltua, and Sergeant Calicides.
Okay. And the leadership retreat, and it has a number by it. I'm guessing that's the badge number.
Yeah, that's for the chief.
The chief. Okay. And then underneath that, the League of Municipalities. It all says is Ed Conference registration for almost $1,000. Do you know who's going to go to that?
Most of the employees for the League Municipalities Conference, we go down there for seminars and
Have a
that's
good
what it's
time.
for. That's it.
Okay. Atlantic City?
Yep.
Oh, put a
lot of
bet on
work.
number 13.
It's a lot of work.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, I believe it is, really. I don't mean to be flip about it. And then number 242, Northern Safety and Industrial. Restock high visibility gear. Well, I understand what that is. The bright yellow stuff. Do you have any idea how much we had to get?
66.
66. Whoa, that's pretty specific. Okay. Anything on the... Whoa. Nothing on that page.
Whoa.
Wow.
How about that? Well, let's see. How about the other pages? Oh, yeah. Well, knew I wasn't done yet. Okay. Michael, I think he's the officer is in charge of public relations or whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. Michael Sorrentino, sorry. What does FBINAA stand for?
Fimbinell.
Yeah, well, duh.
He's at the FBI National Academy for 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
It's an
And that's a
intensive law
tuition?
enforcement. Yeah.
That's a tuition. And that doesn't count his room and board.
No.
No, which you'll submit for, obviously. Okay. And 327. How many challenge coins did we get for almost $800?
I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they all get one at least, Mike,
Oh,
right? Every
okay.
officer has
I
a
think so.
challenge
I
coin.
challenge you.
Yeah, I've gotten them. They've given them me from other departments.
I
Pretty
know.
cool.
I know.
It's a nice,
Or it was just one, but very, really big one.
the gold one.
You need a big pickup truck to haul it around. Okay. And then 329. Defibrillators. Well, I know what they're for. How many did we get for almost $7,000?
6.
That's just 6.
6. Okay. Well, that's why the 6 was there, but it's hard to tell sometimes. And then I'm trying to understand why we couldn't combine them in one, but maybe we can't. To the state of New Jersey, 348, 349, 350, all the same thing. Pesticide license, all the same. Well, one was $30, but is there a reason why they had to be separate?
They just go to different divisions.
Oh,
That's
I
all.
see. The more divisions, the better. It's called job security, and that's it on the bills.
Okay.
And I don't think I took it out.
No, meeting adjourned. Thanks, then.
Okay.
Anybody else? Anything on resolutions, vouchers, anything that appears on the agenda other than ordinances? Jack, come up, state your name and address for the record.
Jack Mamie, Maplewood Avenue, Oakhurst. I'll take a crack at the vouchers. Let's see, number 47, Cat 5 for 2 feet for $24.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the number.
47.
47 from CDW. I hate to tell you got hosed, but you got hosed.
I'll take your word for it. I know it's a computer thing.
Yeah,
It's 2 feet of
it's
Cat
just-
5 cable.
Yeah, but you can get
Yeah.
them. You can get like a pack of
$2.40.
10 on Amazon for
Yeah, I
like
think there's a
$5.
decimal error.
We need a
That's
certain
240.
gauge, though, Jack. This
Yeah,
is a
could-
township. This is not a home.
Seriously.
Well,
It
you shouldn't
could
be buying Cat
240,
5
yeah.
anymore. We're on
Okay.
7, 8.
Jack, that might be a typo. That might be $2.40.
Well, that makes more sense.
Agreed.
I'll check it.
Okay.
All right, moving on along.
If it is 24, call me up. I can get it for a lot less. $23.99.
Number 115, Gramco Business Communications. Microphone astatic base. Is that a microphone stand or a...
That's for a police car. They're one of their mics that they use to announce outside of the car and whatnot.
Okay. I was just wondering. I'm like, if it was a mic stand, that's pretty expensive for...
Yeah.
But now I understand that. Okay.
No, somebody else, you and I do. Because Jim doesn't live in town. I mean, in the county, does he?
Number 299, the Dell PowerEdge you bought.
299.
I wouldn't know if you got a good deal or not without seeing the specs on the server, but
I hope so.
$299.
I mean, $4,000 for a server is actually not bad. So
It was bought off a state contract, so.
okay.
And software house is usually very cheap. They compete with me. I can't come close.
Nice to see you're buying sustainable energy. 310, 311.
Mm-hmm.
Does that cover a percentage or all of your usage or?
Yeah, it's just a percentage. It doesn't cover all the uses.
So like 10% or something like that? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's it.
Thanks. Thank you, Jay. Anybody else? Okay. This is on the consent agenda and.
Yeah, no, I just paying attention to it this evening because I had a little time to go through it. But one of the most expensive things I see is the golf course maintenance, $24,280 every month. We pay that?
It's about $200,000 a year.
So it's a little bit more this time because if it's $24,280,
Well,
it's more than that.
They don't do anything. We close in the winter, so they're there probably
8 months.
yeah. I think it's 9. They're there 9 months.
So like how many people? Isn't that expensive?
Well, it's we priced it out both ways. Whether we bid it out, by the way, every year, but we priced it whether we had employees to maintain it, or if we did it this way was less expensive. Believe it or not.
So how are we doing it? That's less expensive than employees. You mean town employees doing it versus an outside
Absolutely.
landscaper?
Yeah. Because you would need at least a crew of 4. So you think about what their salaries would be, plus their insurance and their health benefits, and then you would need equipment.
So only 4 workers cost us $24,000 a month?
No, listen. They have a crew. I don't know how many they send over there, but I'm saying we would need at least 4 to maintain that golf course. Our 4 workers would cost a lot more than that.
Okay. I just think, we've been doing a lot of research on landscaping after the DRA, our English Ivy, so I just, this just seems really high to me. I was just wondering, you said you bid it out every year,
Yeah, it's the best price.
so there might be, if
And
I
it's
know
a
of
great-
some landscapers, you'd see some other people?
Yeah,
If it was less than-
they were all welcome to bid
It's
this.
just to like mow lawn and maintain.
No. It's a golf course. It's not a yard. It's a golf course. So there's treatments that need to be done, and they need to be done environmentally sensitively. You need to grow certain grasses for the fairway, the rough, the green. The greens need maintenance. The sand traps need maintenance. Otherwise, Marty would never be able to play out of them. The whole thing, the tee boxes.
And does it also include the house? The house that's on the property, or
No, that's our
clubhouse, or what?
that would be under our buildings and grounds. But
Okay.
everything on the golf course, the whole exterior, everything out there, the sprinkler, all that stuff.
Oh, the sprinklers included.
Everything's on them, and it's quite a job. It's not something you can any landscaper can just do. You need to be certified in a lot of areas.
And do we
golf
have
course is
enough
in great
members?
shape.
Does our membership
The
cover
golf
it?
course loses about it either breaks even or loses up to about $40,000 a year by itself. However, it's lumped in with recreation, which also has the pool club, and the pool club makes more than Lock Harbor Beach, and far offsets any loss. We make a pretty good profit with all our recreation lumped together.
Okay.
So it's worthwhile having that 38 acres open rather than having it developed.
No, of course.
Oh, okay.
No,
well,
I was just thinking of the expenses. That's all.
Like you said, open space is expensive.
No, not if we just let it stay wild.
It's wild. All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Peter Youngkin, 610 Deal Road. Item 180 is for Avakian on bike lanes.
Yes.
What exactly did Avakian provide us on the bike lanes?
Let me see which one this is for.
That's for engineering, that's for inspections, that's for the drawings, attending meetings with the various agencies.
Is that all part of the bike plan that the township has?
Yeah.
And further support of it?
Yeah, and we're actually, on tonight's agenda, we're actually going for another grant to improve and add more bike lanes.
On the west side of the highway.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is all that new work that's part of his statement of work. Okay, that's great. 336 is a reimbursement for snow removal for the manor at Wayside. Is that something? Is there an agreement there or some reason for that?
Oh, okay, that's part of the Kylie bill. You know, we have to reimburse the condo and apartment complexes because we don't do their snow removal; they do it themselves.
Oh, the residence is over by the manor.
Yeah, most of these condo complexes, apartment buildings, etc., they do their own, and we give them a reimbursement, a set fee, what we would charge by the mile, etc.
And when is that agreement?
That's through the state. That's been in there for a long time, and it's not.
That's required by the state. In other words, a lot of these units, you know, they were going to do their own, but then the state said, why are they paying taxes where they're paying for everyone else's snow removal, and yet they have to remove their own snow? So they made the municipalities reimburse.
Okay, thank you. And item 356, special duty police details. Can you give some examples of what that is?
Sure, like if there's a utility company doing work, say like on Deal Road, and there has to be a police car there to make sure traffic goes back and forth, that's what those special duties are for.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Anybody else on the consent agenda and/or resolutions? No? Vouchers? Okay. Someone please offer the minutes for September 27th, 2018 workshop.
I'll offer the minutes.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Napolitani,
Yes.
Shephaka,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. And for tonight, we have resolutions 18178 through 18188. Someone please offer.
I'll offer those resolutions.
Second.
I'll second them.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Napolitani,
Yes.
Shephaka,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Individual action here for vouchers in the amount of $7,702,479.56. Someone please offer.
I will offer the voucher list.
Second.
And I'll second it.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Napolitani,
Yes.
Shephaka,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, except for those of which I have a conflict. Also, we have resolutions tonight for individual action 18189, authorize a professional service contract with T&M Associates, prepare zoning ordinance amendments for the C1 neighborhood, commercial in the 01 or 01140 office research zoning districts. This is for we're doing a rehabilitation zone in some of our areas. This will include Norwood Avenue, Monmouth Road, and West Park Avenue. And so rehabilitations kind of incentivize the owners to clean up their properties, maybe do some improvements, and it's a win-win for everybody. Doesn't cost us anything. Someone please offer.
I will offer that.
Second.
I'll second it.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Napolitani,
Yes.
Shephaka,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, doesn't cost us anything for them to do the work is what I'm saying. It costs us money to have the planner put this together, the engineer, of course. 18190, authorize the tax collector to issue refunds credits to those taxpayers who have received a favorable state tax appeal judgment. Someone please offer.
I'll offer 18-190.
Second.
I'll second it.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Napolitani,
Yes.
Shephaka,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 18191, authorize a contract with Andre Blangier to provide tennis services at the Ocean Township Community Pool and Tennis Facility. Andre's been winning the bid. This is a bid service for 9 times in a row, which is 27 years. He's a great tennis teacher, though. Someone please offer.
I'll offer 18-191.
Second.
I'll second it.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Napolitani,
Yes.
Shephaka,
Yes.
and Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. 18192, authorize the tax collector to cancel real estate taxes for the following payers. Has been declared 100% totally disabled veteran and refunded tax already paid for 2018. Block 14014, Lot 1 for an amount of $2,463.76, and Block 319, Lot 9 in an amount of $5,446.69. Someone please offer.
I'll offer 18-192.
Second.
And I'll second it.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Napolitani.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Sosiano.
And yes, and for adoption tonight, we have ordinance 2309. Ben, would you read the title, please?
Sure. An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 14 and Chapter 16 of the revised general ordinance of the Township of Ocean entitled Swimming Pools, Parks, and Playgrounds.
Okay. Someone please open a public hearing on ordinance 2309.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Napolitani.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Sosiano.
Yes. Anybody wishing to be heard on ordinance 2309, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing or hearing no one, someone will close the public hearing on 2309.
I'll close the public hearing on ordinance 2309.
Second.
Second.
Excuse me.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Napolitani.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Sosiano.
Yes. Action please on 2309.
I move to adopt ordinance 2309
And publish according to law.
and publish according to law.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Napolitani.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Sosiano.
Yes. Also for adoption of ordinance number 2310. Ben, would you read the title, please?
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 21 of the Comprehensive Land Development Ordinance for the Township.
Someone please open a public hearing on ordinance 2310.
I'll open the public hearing on ordinance 2310.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Napolitani.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Abstain.
And Mayor Sosiano.
Yes. Anybody wishing to be heard on ordinance 2310, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Peter Yunkin, 610 Deal Road. This is specifically about the land use section relating to second-story attics above garages, and
Yes.
how you access them.
Yeah, so they have the option of getting a staircase there for folks who have a home like that. And so it's just an option if they want to use that as an office storage space or anything but a, they can't make it a bedroom or anything like that. So it's something that's done. Cedar Village has the same models laid out like that as well.
So we don't permit that today.
Well, it was left out in their site plan when they came in for their approval, so just kind of tidying up the business before they start selling the models, so they don't have that problem on each individual coming in for a zoning board amendment. That would be arduous and
Okay.
waste
It
of
was
everybody's
specific
time.
to some new project.
Yeah, this one is for any new project, specifically the Toll Brothers project. So when they sell the units, they can offer that as an option without them coming to the zoning board.
Okay, but if you had happen to have an attic above your garage existing, it would apply to you too? You could...
Not unless you're in that zone.
No.
You're an individual house, no. This is a development being built, but, depending upon what zone you're in, I don't know what is required in each zone, but you'd come in.
Okay, then the second part of it was the patio. Is that then also related to that zone and that project? It's
Yes.
not
Yes.
throughout the whole township?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else wishing to be heard on 2310, step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing and hearing no one, someone please close the public hearing on ordinance 2310.
I move to close the public hearing on ordinance 2310.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Napolitani.
Yes.
Shepherd.
I abstain.
And Mayor Sosiano.
Yes. Action please on ordinance 2310.
I'll move to adopt ordinance 2310 and publish according to law.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Napolitani.
Yes.
Shepherd.
I abstain.
And Mayor Sosiano.
Yes. And also for introduction tonight, we have ordinance number 2311. Ben, would you read the title?
An ordinance amending and supplementing ordinance 2286 entitled Personnel Policies, Practices, and Procedures.
Thank you. Someone please introduce ordinance. Oh.
Approve.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, just approve for introduction ordinance 2311.
I'll move.
Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Napolitani.
Yes.
Shepherd.
Yes.
And Mayor Sosiano.
Yes, that'll have its public hearing on the November 8th meeting. At this time, I just want to make one more announcement before I open it up to the public. Our senior freeze program, senior tax freeze program, ends this year for the 31st of the year. So by October 31st, you need to get that's the deadline, Wednesday the 31st. We have forms here. They're up there. If anybody knows anybody, you have a senior friend, parent, relative, or anybody that you think this may be useful for, they can pick up one of these and contact the county there and get this rolling. They're right over here in Neptune. It's easy to apply for. Okay. At this time, does anybody have anything germane to Ocean Township? Please come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. All right. Oh, we have somebody.
Peter Young, 600 Deal Road. The items for discussion D1 through D5, or is that something we can talk
That was
about?
in workshop. We already had that. You can ask about them if you'd like.
I was curious about the Joe Palea park enhancements.
Okay, so Mike just went over some of the things that we're doing over there that he wants to do.
Yeah. No,
Can I just say something?
Oh, yeah,
If I'm not incorrect, that was actually, it was the wrong park, I think. Am I correct?
well, it kind of dovetailed into two different things. One was improvements to Appleby Park, and there's some improvements that we want to do in Joe Palea in regards to straightening out some of the paved areas in pretty bad shape, and they need to be fixed. Some enhancements like that. So we've been touring it for the last couple weeks, waiting for the engineer to write up, what he thinks we should do to fix it.
So mostly maintenance, not anything new.
No,
clean up.
maintenance.
Okay. I was just wondering, has there ever been any requests for like a enclosed dog run?
Yes, numerous requests for that. For a doggy park, if you will. We labor over that. I mean, I have 3 dogs, and my fiance works at a veterinary hospital, and she sees what happens at some of these dog parks, and she always advises, not every dog's nice like ours. And so, we're torn between it. There is an area, though, we're going to actually discuss over at Dave DeRouge Park that's kind of set up for it, just needs one fence to go up, and maybe give it a soft trial run without advertising it there. But, I think there's a big liability that's right up there with skateboard parks.
We often go up to by the racetrack,
Yeah.
and it's just a beautiful
Yeah, it works out for them.
place. And all right, so there's some consideration you might.
There's some, but
Okay.
we've never pulled the trigger yet.
Okay, and we can't ask about the closed.
You can ask. You can ask any question you like, Peter.
So I saw something in the paper about finally meeting your COA obligations. And I know for many years you've spoken about how ongoing all these obligations are and suits. Like,
Yeah.
is that kind of like,
It's
are we
what
not
we
going to see
haven't-
this anymore?
Well, we're to the point, Marty, where we have we got it codified yet? We need one more meeting, right?
Yeah, we're still not finished. We're coming close to some resolution of various issues. And what will happen is if we do get a resolution with, Fair Share Housing and the other developers that are involved, ultimately it will then be scheduled for a hearing before a judge, what's called a fairness hearing, to determine whether or not the plan works. Is it fair? It'll include development ongoing right now and development that's planned in the near future, I guess. But it will also include unmet need, things that we're not meeting now, but properties that they're anticipating for future development. And if that should happen, then there'll have to be a contribution in terms of number of units for COA.
So are we getting to like the light at the end of the tunnel where
I think so.
you fully met all of
I
those
think we're
requirements
getting
and there'll be
towards.
no more?
We're getting towards. Not that we've fully met, because the unmet need is a major issue, but we are getting towards the light at the end of the tunnel, where we will meet our what's called our RDP, our realistic development potential, based upon the number of units that we can try to provide. But again, there's still future development, and someone can always object at a fairness hearing to what we proposed.
I'll just take, that's the legal version of it. I'll take the mystery out without divulging too much. But we're confident that we're getting to the RDP, the realistic development potential. And the unmet need, like you said, areas will be overlaid that may not get developed for 50 years sometimes, who knows. But what that means to us by meeting the RDP is when a development that's not identified in the unmet needs section, and the builder comes in now and he's looking for an approval or subdivision, we no longer have to give these gratuitous approvals. If you're an R4 and you're not under one of those identified properties, you're getting 4 homes per acre. No more of this intense density.
So that's a pretty big deal to
It's
reach that
huge.
milestone, right?
Huge deal. It's been ongoing since 2009 when we
I think it actually started before I was born. So yes, it's a very long
litigation since then.
Okay, I'm going to ask about C2. This is specifically the Lock Arbor School.
Now that was in closed session. We can't talk about
Okay.
it.
Read the press.
Yeah, there was a decision.
Okay.
It was unanimous.
Good. Anybody else? Please come up to the microphone. Yeah, well, let Doc come up, Don, because you were up there. I like to let folks come around for their first crack at it.
I'll yield to Don.
Plus, he usually has a good report for Cedar Village for us.
007. As you know, I've been coming down to the council meetings for the past 10 years. And it's nice to see all these people here, but most of the time people come down because they ask for something. They want something. I'll give a report tonight. We're not asking, we're giving.
Nice.
This is from Cedar Village to the community.
Very nice.
This past December, we adopted a family, 12 families, during our Adopt a Family and Toy Drive for the holiday.
Nice.
In February, annual food drive for fulfillment collected 408 pounds of non-perishable food and $1,093 in cash. And for every $1 collected provides 3 meals, which equates to 3,279 meals for those in need.
Wow.
We also, during that time, as you know, there was, probably still is, a homeless group that's behind ShopRite. We heard about it and collected $785 in cash and $300 in ShopRite gift cards for them. And these were presented to Pastor Lee of the Mount Carmel Baptist Church so he can distribute it to the homeless. April. Suited for Success through the Lunch Break Organization in Red Bank. These are closed for those who are starting in, looking for employment, but don't have enough business clothes. Be presentable when they apply and start in employment. May. Stock the pantry in the center in Asbury Park. June. Blood drive at a clubhouse. We collected 19 pints of blood, and this is in the senior community. August. I hope Boy Scouts are taking cognizance of this. The simple reason that if we don't support our community, no one is going to, and the community is you. August, Stuff the Bus. We collected 60 backpacks and 20 large bags of school supplies, which will be distributed to about 100 to 120 low-income families, as per the Board of Education. In September, we collected miscellaneous items for the Trenton Psychiatric Hospital patients. Also went to the walkathon, which benefited Mary's Place for women recovering from breast cancer. A collection of $1,775. September, we collected toiletries, books, and personal items for our service personnel overseas. October, a big sale benefiting the Wanamasa First Aid Squad. We normally, every year, alternate with the cake sale, which will benefit either the squad, the First Aid Squad, or the fire department. November, we'll be running our Veterans Day celebration at the clubhouse for the Cedar Village veterans. And we have quite a few veterans in the senior community.
When is that, Doc?
Pardon?
I'm right here, but my voice is carrying. When is that event for the veterans?
I haven't got the date on that yet.
Could you
It's
let us know?
going to be next month, and I'll let you know.
Thank you.
And again in December, we'll be going back to the toy drive and adopt a family program. We don't ask what you can do for us. We do for the community.
Thank you, Doc. That's wonderful. You guys are great. And just on a personal note, I'll say that Doc comes up, gives the reports, and every time he comes up here and talks about what these folks do over there, they are active adults for sure at that community, because you guys are always out doing something, and it's incredible. So we thank you for that, and the community thanks you for that. Great. Anybody else have anything? Yes, come on up to the microphone, young lady. State your name and address for the record.
Young ladies.
Young ladies. We just need
chance
to
for
name-
harmonizing?
Yes. Tammy Jeffrey, 425 Lake Avenue, Oakhurst section.
Betty Jones, 427 Lake Avenue.
Okay. You back up to the brook, don't you?
Yeah, that's
we're,
us.
We're a little nervous this weekend. Another flood.
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
weeks ago, a flood. I mean, there was a program. It was headed by Tom Caruso.
Mhm.
He was taken off the project, I hear. We don't know who's been put in charge of the project. We were kind of just left in the, just dangling out there. I mean, we have this brook that overflows.
It's a 300-year-old brook,
Yeah.
and everybody, all this lovely building that you keep doing, the runoff just keeps going in a brook that's 300 plus years old that cannot handle it.
And then you have a sewer drain at the lowest part of the entire street in between our houses that starts overfilling, and then the sewer drain comes from one side, the brook comes from the other, and then we have an ocean.
Yep.
And our houses are surrounded.
You have a storm drain, you said, in the middle?
Right smack
Okay.
in between the two of us.
Yeah.
The lowest point of the entire road. So,
I mean,
and then we go underwater.
Right.
I mean, is there any plans to fix it, clean it, dredge it,
Help
dig
us.
it, do
Yeah,
something
there's,
with it?
well, Mr. Masillo is actually now taking over the project, but there's a multi-town thing going on in the county. We're trying to get the help, and I think Mike can pick it up from there.
Yeah, basically we need the county on board because each Ocean Township is affected by each town further down. So West Long Branch and Long Branch, and it all backs up because the infrastructure is just that much older, and it doesn't get to drain in the way that it can. So we really kind of need the county on board to help us push this along with the other towns.
Well, who can we get in contact with? I mean, I have no problems writing to anybody that needs to know.
We could try the county freeholders.
The freeholder board.
I mean, who took over the project in Ocean?
Well, I inherited it after the first round of the Blue Acres program. I guess that's what you're
Yes.
referring
Right,
to.
We contacted Blue Acres, but they said there wasn't enough interest in town and that we should go door to door.
Right.
I mean, who am I to go door to door
Yeah.
knocking on whoever?
Right. I mean, there's other homeowners out there. I mean, if you ever look at that flood map, I mean, and it's not an issue of if, it's now just when will
Right.
it happen. There's like hundreds of homes that will be annihilated from that.
Yeah, the Blue Acres is great.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
we had 2 meetings on it. We'll do another.
We went
Yeah.
to the meetings
Yeah.
and then it was dropped.
Yeah, and then you talk to the DEP and they're like, well, there's not enough interest,
Yeah,
you
they
need
need
a
X amount.
cluster, blah, blah, blah. So, send more letters or go to these people and really explain what it is. I mean, like I said, there's so many homes that are involved in this, and I can't imagine them not wanting to, do something.
Sure.
I actually went out to them probably about 6 weeks ago, and they said that the problem they had was they needed the homes for people to be interested to be clustered, and they really weren't.
Well, there's 3 homes on our street that it affects, and the 3 people on our street it affects.
Or
are
interested.
Right, so,
I'll tell you, can I meet with you? And,
Yeah.
and- okay.
Why don't you come over Saturday night when we're underwater?
yeah, right, exactly.
Well, I'll meet with you, and we'll develop letters. We'll see what we could do about funding. Yeah, it always comes down to funding with them, so we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, just something's got to be done. It's 300-year-old, that brook. I mean, it can't take the runoff anymore.
Yeah.
Infrastructure is important.
Can I
when
tell you
you're
something?
building.
I lived on that brook. My
I
house
live right
was
next to it.
My house was on Whale Pond Road. It's the house right on the brook.
Right.
And
Did it always flood?
it always, well,
Yes.
when we bought the house, we asked the previous owners, does the brook overflow? And they said no. And then we found pictures of them in a canoe on Whale Pond Road. Having said that, while we were there, the brook overflowed at least 5 or 6 times. I lost our furnace. So, you know, it's been a very long time.
Nobody covers that.
Well, back then we had flood insurance, but you know what? The bottom line is,
Don't build there
it
then.
has, well,
You know what I mean? Don't build on it then.
it's been flooding for a very long time.
Right.
So it's not something that, and I'm not saying that additional construction might not have impacted it, but frankly, we had horrible flooding, and that was in I think we bought it in 1982 or so. So, yeah, or no, actually we bought it in 1978. So from 1978, and I think we moved out of there in 85, it flooded all the time.
And when I moved in '89, and it flooded 2 years later, they told me that was the first flood. It was the 100th.
Well, you know what? And to be honest with you, we used to get it worse than the people on Lake. And in my house would be like, in a way, there'd be like, my entire backyard would be flooded. My entire front yard would be flooded. We'd have to move our cars out of the driveway.
Right.
And we were on like an island because we were a little high in terms of the house, but it would enter the crawl space.
Right. So.
But yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Lived through it.
Okay. Well,
All right, so get together with Mike and see if we can get them rolling on something
I
for
would
you.
like to contact us. Should we contact you or?
Sure, yeah. You can call my office first thing in the morning, manager's office, and we'll set something up.
okay. Thank you.
Good. Thank you for coming. Sure, Doc. Come on up.
Sorry, folks. I just forgot a few things that I think you'd want for the complete report. Cedar Village also has started something new. It's called the Knitted Heart Hats. And they're for infants and children born with heart disease. They're delivered to tiny heart patients in Wilmington, Delaware at the DuPont Hospital. So we're expanding, not only locally,
Taking on more causes.
but if you need us, you come to us, we're there. And for the environmentalist, we just replaced 650 trees which wasn't grown properly. Those were the contractor's trees. Getting rid of them, replace 650. We will have now approximately 1,000 trees in Cedar Village.
Wow. Reforestation. Good job.
That just put us back from.
Now we're back to 1957.
That just put us over to suburban now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're bucolic again.
Marty, if you had it, you wouldn't have to flood it.
You think so? On Whale Pond, I don't know.
He
Whale Pond
needed
Brook is-
300 trees.
We needed a wall, is what we needed.
300 alone.
I'll tell you that when you move out and you go back, you feel good you moved out. But,
All right. Anybody else? Yeah,
it's hard to
Scott.
sell your house, no
Yeah,
question.
I'm just still going around there, Don, until
That's okay. I can make.
I figure you look comfy there.
I'll just sit in the dark. Scott Sharp, Wanamassa, 1403 Sunset. I heard your announcement of you're talking about a land swap, and then I also heard a statement of it's going to be on the agenda for the planning board December 17th.
Correct.
And in looking, based on, first I've seen any of these, so I haven't really had a chance to look at them, but with the number of documents that I've seen in Mr. Kirk's area, and then a box, and they're all, there's plans have been sent to the state for approval, and I'm kind of, wondering, are all those documents going to be already completely updated and submitted that reflect your plan with the developer, and they're all going to be done before the December 17th, so that if anybody wants to look at them before then, are they already done?
Well, here's what they're not already done. We had a technical review. I think I sent you an email. Technical review conference. I forget what day. What's today? Thursday, Friday.
Thursday.
Today's Thursday. The other day we had a technical review conference where our engineer went over some of his issues and he met with their engineer. So they need to, of course, amend their plans and bring them in, and they have to do it 10 days before the meeting. Otherwise they won't be on that agenda. Now, just as note, they're going to come in with 2 phases now. They're going to come in with their plan the way it is on this board in the middle, because that was their original, with showing they want to get an approval for their residential homes. When they get an approval, they're only going to pull permits for phase 1, which is commercial, and they're going to give us time to perfect the deed and a building envelope to reflect board number 3 over here. And if we can give them, which I'm confident we can because it's already a building site, a building envelope that suits their needs, and we could give them a fair swap, they're going to drop the residential component here, and we'll have that landed, and hopefully the whole plan should look like that.
Okay. So 10 days before
That's
December 17th, everything should be tidied up.
Everything, all plans are supposed to be on file at least 10 days before the actual hearing.
Okay, all right. And Mr. Kirk, when I tried to reach him previously or last week, he didn't return my phone call. So is he still the guy that I go to there?
Yes, but
I didn't
if he
understand
gets,
why he didn't return calls.
He's meeting with millions of developers, but always call myself or Mr. Masillo if you don't get him, and then we can at least try to give you an update what's ready.
All right. And I guess on the areas from the closed session, does updates such as the litigation in Lock Arbor, what's going to happen next, does that come out of the school board or here as to what the next steps will be?
Well, that's them, and we support the school board 100%, but it really would be their call on how they want to move forward.
For the most part, this has been a matter handled through the school board, and we have joined and written supporting papers as well, but the school board has taken what's called the laboring oar, and I've been riding in the passenger seat.
Okay. The Asbury Park Press was pretty clear today of what the outcome was.
Yeah, the outcome
we'll
is
wait and see, but we're still churning away spending money. And you already announced several weeks ago or a couple of months ago that council here has done 0 increase in your budget, but those bad guys over there in the school board, they hit us for $2 million. So I'd like to know if that hemorrhaging is going to stop, if you guys are working with them.
Yeah.
Trying to stop the hemorrhaging.
And of course we know that you were joking with, because they're not bad guys. They just have some difficult issues that school boards have.
Okay, that's it for today.
Thanks, Scott. Anybody else? Please come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Peter Yunkin, 610 Deal Road. I'd just like to follow up on.
Oh, we got to lift that guy up there.
On Mr. Sharp's questions about the application. I saw a letter, I believe, from Mr. Kirk that was dated July 31, responding back to the attorney, Jennifer Krimko, for Paramount. And there were deficiencies that he referenced that were, I believe, more than 20.
Okay.
And as I understood it, they needed to come back, and there needed to be a record that those deficiencies were corrected. And then there'd be another letter from Mr. Kirk saying that was all cleared up.
Right.
We'll see that letter 10 days before the planning board?
They may be still corresponding back and forth, I'm sure. As they submit revised plans, they get reviewed again, and then another letter may be generated that's acceptable. Maybe they need more, etc. So, but 10 days before, all should be.
I mean, look, this is pretty standard for any application, especially large applications. There's an application made. There are issues from the application I did make. At this point, I'm guessing the application has been deemed, complete so that they can file and get a date, but they still may have obligations to make certain changes based on professional review. What the status is, actually, the council really doesn't see that. That's going before the planning board. So, you can go down there, and whatever the plans are at this point, and whatever changes they've made should be reflected in the plans they filed.
So Mr. Sharp or myself or anyone could go see Mr. Kirk tomorrow, and we would see a letter that said it was deemed complete.
I would think so, if they're getting a date. That usually
Well, they can get a date, but they could be on the agenda and not be complete, and if they're not satisfactorily complete 10 days before, they're off the agenda.
Yeah. I mean, they're deemed complete, but they still may have issues they have to resolve. It's two different issues. You know, they may have reports from professionals saying, we want this change, we want that change. That doesn't mean their application wasn't complete. There's two different issues here. A complete application.
Yeah. They had, being that they had that the last technical review conference I was at, they understood what areas they need to improve on, and they were confident they can do that between the engineers, so they put them on the agenda.
Go ahead, Mike.
Just
I'm kind of a little lost here right now.
Just to let you know, Mr. Kirk won't be in the office tomorrow, just so you don't make a wasted trip.
Don't come all the way down Deal Road.
There'll be a letter that says Kirk deems it complete at some point.
At some point.
And it may not be before going to the first planning board hearing.
Well, no, there won't be a planning board hearing if the application is not
It will be
deemed
before that.
Okay, so that much is certain.
Yeah.
Okay. And then who actually sets the planning board agenda that gets them on there for that date? Is that Mr. Kirk or
Mr. Kirk
Maurice
knows,
request that date?
Well, they can request, and Mr. Kirk will look and see what's already been submitted, what's on the agenda, what's been carried, and if there's room.
Yeah, it's based on the dates that applications were filed. It's based on a lot of different things. And sometimes with bigger applications, they'll have special meetings if they can arrange them, because they want to take a whole meeting, as opposed to at a typical planning board meeting, the person applying gets 1 hour of time. So if an applicant on a big application wants to get an entire night, they have to pay for a special meeting, pay for the experts, pay for the room, all that kind of stuff.
And is that what they're getting on that
I
date?
have no
On
idea.
the
Just an hour.
17th, they're getting 1 hour. It's a regularly scheduled meeting, so they're just getting. Like I said, I don't know how much they're going to get done there, but there'll be other meetings, I'm sure.
Okay, and then at a prior council meeting, I believe you said, and I could be wrong, you didn't think they would go there until the new year. Is this a change?
Yeah, I mean, this is my speculation. I mean, I'm not Superman. I know I look like it sometimes, but I'm not Superman. Sometimes I even make an error.
Well, you have a lot of agreements with developers. You meet with them, you talk to them. You probably have a pretty good idea about a lot of things better than the rest of us who are not sitting in the room with you at the time, right?
Maybe.
So something changed from...
Nothing changed, except for they felt they're confident enough that they'll be ready December 17th. So you ready? Bring it in.
It was supposed to be January, so it's basically 14 days before
I speculated that I said they probably wouldn't be ready.
And the key was, he said he'd try to give as much notice as possible, and he's done that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the application, actually, to Scott's question, there's no redoing a new application with new drawings, Scott, I think. I could be wrong. I don't understand it fully. But what's going to go and be presented, actually, is all the drawings and the application that was presented back in July.
No. Basically, what's going to be, they can make changes to the application, and typically the application, again, because they're constantly getting reports from the planner, from the engineer, and saying, we don't like this or we don't like that, and they may make changes to the plans. And the plans that they introduce at the hearing are supposed to be on file 10 days before the hearing. So there can be changes made between what was filed in whenever, July, and what will be looked at in December. I haven't looked at any of the plans. I don't know if apparently some of you have. So I don't know if there are any changes from when they initially filed till now. I don't know. But there can be changes to the plans.
So the drawings could come in with no changes, in which case you would have all the residential buildings on it, or it could come in with none of the residential buildings related to your land swap. I don't know. Are you planning to sort of talk a little bit more about it?
Yeah, right now.
So I should maybe sit down and let you talk.
Let me explain this to you so you understand. They are coming in with the full-blown plan with the residential, because they don't have a guarantee from me that I can give them a clean building envelope. Okay, so I got them. It took a long time to agree to even consider the swap, and after a lot of kicking, crying, screaming, finally, okay, we'll do this. But we don't want to be held up on this application. Like, I'm gambling with them. I'm confident we're going to be able to swap land with them. I'm confident of that, because that was already in a building site, and there's foundations already there. But they want to see it, so we have to redo our surveys and all that, and get them all the stuff they need to show that they have a clean building envelope that suits their needs, And then, so they're gonna come in, get the approval for the full site, but only pull permits for phase 1, which is the commercial, and give us time to give that perfected deed and then do the land swap. Then they will drop. And they're gonna mention this at the planning board meeting too, that's how they're gonna do this. Then they're gonna drop the residential piece off. I think that's a pretty good deal.
Is there some sort of letter of intent drawn up to document?
They're gonna say it on record at the meeting.
There's no letter of intent yet dealing with this issue until we can sort of get more information regarding the other piece of property.
Although they are requesting a developer's agreement from me, so they'll have that eventually.
There will be a developer's agreement. But after the going to the planning board with a full application as it stands now.
Okay.
And then, when do you think you would have the land swap?
Well, they're going to give us. They're going to set out a time frame during that application. They're going to specify that we will give the town X amount of months to present us with this building envelope. So, which is great because I think we'll have it long before their time frame. I'm thinking it's going to take 3 to 4 months for us to deliver that to them.
So, sometime in
January, February, March.
early, yeah, second quarter next year. There's a developer's agreement.
Yeah, that may come first. The developer's agreement may be here before that's all finished.
And so that whole negotiation just sort of plays out while you're going over they request to have their engineering review to go over Kirk's.
No, not at all.
Where does that whole idea?
See these boards over here?
Rise?
I'm going to tell
curious
you
about that too. Like, it's a great idea.
Of course it is. Now let me explain it to you, because a lot of spurious information out there, fake news, if you will, that these people are coming in and they came in with a plan 5 years ago and they bribed me and I said it was a good idea. Put that gas station there, they could pump gas right into the brook, and then you could put this hotel there, which could be, a brothel. And then, of course, I got paid off to do all that, and I did nothing else. But these storyboards to my right, far right, are 7 or 8 storyboards, not including these here, of many changes that we've made along the way. I've been requesting along the way to shrink, make it smaller, do this, sell me some of the land. So every time I would say that to them, no, we're not going to do it. So that's always been out there. The opportunity came. It's like a prize fight. You got to wait for your opening and hit them with the punch. So we were able to it's a little complicated, but it correlates with us getting our final number for COA, or finish our COA obligation, having this property where we have to designate the COA anyway. And so once I saw that coming, I said, perfect time now to pull this swap off. And so then the timing was right, and here we are. Good.
So, long story short, you brought that up, not the developer.
No, why would he bring it up? He wants to develop the whole piece of property that way, or whatever that first plan was. He didn't want any of these.
And then it's just kind of like witching hour on Wall Street. A bunch of different things come up and all sort of fall together at this meeting when you're going over his engineering application?
No, I asked to meet him privately, and I hit him with the proposal.
Good for you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I remember being here with you, and you say it's nothing you could do. So
I can't telegraph what we're doing.
Negotiations, with all due respect, have to be done in private, and you can't negotiate in public, because if you negotiate in public, this is available for everybody. So negotiations can't be all done out here.
I understand that. I just think it's a wonderful thing that you propose that.
Thinking outside the box.
And then I also, I understand that you can't talk about everything, so that leaves us in the public maybe feeling a little uncertainty and wondering,
understood.
Well, what's going to follow? And so I'm trying to understand that too. What will follow then, when you can talk about it, is a developer agreement.
Correct.
Well, the developer's agreement, yeah, that's something at a later date. But right now, it's whether or not this will work for everybody, and there's discussions going on about that.
Right. And is it complicated in any way because there's no sale yet from the Stop and Shop people?
Well, I think that's an additional wrinkle, but hopefully that's not going to be that they're still purchasing the property and then they swap. I don't know. I don't think that's going to be a major problem, but you know what? Nothing's over till it's over.
I presented them with quite a challenge. I think everybody.
Right. I mean, it's very complicated. There's a few parties. There's no ownership of the land yet by Paramount, as far as any of us know.
No question that it's somewhat complicated, but complication is our mayor's middle name.
I live for it.
And then another procedural question, I guess. That's very transactional, and it gets us as a township, a real substantial benefit that we get all that 17 acres or whatever it winds up being as township land.
Yep.
You'll take deed to it.
Yeah. If this all works out, we have other township land that they would then develop, and this would become township land if it all is successful.
It's going to work out.
He's much more, I'm a lawyer. I'm paid to look at the dark side.
And so then down the road, if that happens, to follow again all the procedures, is that then become forever open space?
We could put on our Rossi, yeah.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
And then how does that relate to the other ordinance on the open space tax?
Well, I'm holding off on that. We may or may not need it. Depends on how much of a good, clean envelope I can get them. I'm hoping it's a swap for swap. Now, I don't want to really tell you any more about what I think the values of both properties are because they're listening. But there's a chance we won't need it. There's a chance we may. I'm just leaving it open for now because once you adopt it, the only way to get rid of the open space tax is by another referendum, which we could do. But I just want to see how this plays out. I'm buying a little more time.
Okay.
Sound fair? That's all I can tell you.
Because in the September 27th minutes, it says in 2019 you're going ahead with the ordinance on the open space.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we don't have to do that, but the clock's ticking on that.
Okay. You want to give someone else a chance, and you can come back up?
Somebody else get a chance.
Somebody who hasn't spoken yet? Anyone who hasn't spoken.
Somebody who hasn't spoken twice already.
Yeah.
Jack,
or like seven times.
That precludes you, Jack.
Oh, I know.
Jack Mamie, Maplewood Avenue. I hope that when we talk about affordable housing, as someone on the Environmental Commission, I would hope that we consider building green, especially when it comes to energy efficiency. When you think about affordable housing, we have to make it not only affordable to buy, but to maintain, pay the utilities. So if we can get the cost of utilities down like 60-70%, especially when you go about it from the beginning with efficiency in mind, the cost is not that, the cost difference is almost negligible.
No, I got a task for you because I appointed you to the Environmental Commission because you're a bright young man and you're a brilliant kid. But you need to, when you get these reports for any of these planning board applications, you're telling me and you're telling us, and we like that too. I got 100 things going at once. I may forget that. You need to make sure you submit a report to the planning board on any of these applications so that does get in there. Will you remember to do that for me?
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate that. Because that's how that will happen, Jack. Recommendation from the Environmental Commission or Shade Tree, that it's very helpful.
And we all, for the record, being on the planning board, everybody does look at it, does read it, and there have been a lot of recommendations of late because they have done a good job with their recommendations that have been adopted. So I agree with the mayor, and if you can add that twist to it, because they've more or less looked at it from a tree side of the house.
Yeah,
I know that. So from a technology side or energy conservation side.
I think the point you brought up about maintaining affordability is an excellent point.
Right.
That's why I put you on there.
Okay. Well, thank you, and appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Mr. Geiger, you've been waiting so patiently.
All right, Don, get up there quick before you fall asleep.
Yeah, you woke me up. Wait a minute, I gotta look and see.
Did you give us these candies?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
Don.
I love
Happy
my
Halloween.
trick or treat.
Happy
Yes,
Halloween.
I'm still Don Geiger.
I have a sweet tooth.
I haven't moved. I'm still at 1108 Grassmere. Now, with all due respect to Councilman Long, now Deputy Mayor, I feel it was kind of a conflict of interest for him to second the motion and then vote on it. I mean, he's voting for himself.
That's right.
Well, that's allowed, actually.
That's allowed?
If it wasn't permitted, the clerk would have said it was not permitted.
Okay. I'm just saying how I feel.
Okay.
Mike, question for you. When does BJ's 30 days end? Do you know?
1987.
Yeah, and probably about another 20 years. No, we're really trying hard to get this thing done. We met again about a week ago, myself, Marty, the engineer. We're trying to get every piece of information and paper we've sent to the owner over the last couple of years for him to do this, basically fix the whole thing. We're just basically fighting right now over him hiring a company to come in and pave it and fix everything. That's pretty much where we're at right now.
Okay, because I remember our last conversation, you said you sent him a letter giving him 30 days to fix it or else we would do it.
Yep.
Has that fallen through the cracks? Or
yeah, that didn't work.
That didn't work.
No.
Okay, just so I know. So don't hold my breath, in other words. That's the bottom line.
Well, you can hold your breath, but
not very
it's not
long.
probably going to be that helpful.
Okay. Well, to close out, I will say hi to my good friends at Public Works, and to Nancy and Mary, and again express my sympathy to Tom on losing his dad.
Thank you.
And that's all from me.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Anybody else? Scott?
That's one of his excuses.
Scott Sharp, Sunset Avenue, Wanamassa. If I heard your statements on these boards here, the plans that are going to be finalized 10 days before will be reflected on the original plan in the middle board.
Well, yeah, the 8th original plan, right. The one with includes the residential element.
Right.
Yes.
And then you're going to, but then you said, well, then the planning board is going to make its decision sometime, and they'll be approving that plan.
Not necessarily. Let me
finish my question. Then you can, because the issue there is it going to be, if they approve it, you're going to just trust Paramount that they're not going to pull the permits for the other part of it?
They can't. There's going to be a resolution, Scott, to answer your question, saying, okay, you've agreed, because they're going to make a statement, their attorney, that we're only going to pull permits on phase 1, which is the commercial, and then after X amount of months, if we don't have a suitable swap, then we will start pulling permits for phase 2. That's going to be in the resolution.
Typically what happens, and just so we're clear, people file plans, and especially on big applications, those plans go through a lot of changes between the initial filing and ultimate approval, including while the hearings are taking place. There may be someone who comes up and says, well, why do this? Why not do this? And maybe sometimes the town turns and says, would you agree to do that? Yes. So that makes a change in the plan. So plans are changing oftentimes frequently. Once the plan is finalized, if they're approved and a resolution is approved, assuming we're moving along the way we were, there'd be a resolution that may have conditions, and one of the conditions might be that there will be no, you develop this in phases. Phase 1 is approved, which may be the commercial. Phase 2 you will not start construction until X happens, which includes an effort to do a land swap. So that might be a condition in the plan, in the resolution rather, once it's approved.
I'll just say this, Scott. By the time they get to a final vote, I mean, they're going to have several hearings on this. It's a big application. I'm confident we'll have already given them a perfected deed and or envelope.
So because as an example, will both, if you do the land swap, Are you going to still have the both entrances with the traffic problems?
That
on
will change,
Steel
the
Road?
design will change it slightly to
Right. It's
accommodate
all
that.
the details like that that I think
Yeah,
are
that
of
could change.
legitimate concerns.
Yeah. I
Because
bought the-
traffic is already a mess, and it's just going to get worse.
Well, again,
Even without the 17 acres, and in my
except that, and again, to be honest with you, we went through this in 2000 or whatever year it was, when the Stop and Shop, it was 2005 was the appeal, and the Stop and Shop appeal, both their traffic expert and the town's traffic expert that was hired specifically for that issue, at that time, both said that the traffic situation will actually slightly improve, even with the additional traffic, based upon the street widening, the jug handle, and at that time the slip road. Now we're getting a dedicated lane. So there may be improvements to the traffic, and you may disagree. I'm not an engineer. I don't know.
to see the plan.
Yes,
that's all I'm saying.
correct.
And between now and whenever it's first submitted
Right.
and they're declared as complete, that's still it's pretty dicey schedule in my opinion. But
We'll see what happens.
We'll be by to see Mr. Kirk and see what he has.
Good, right.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Jackie Wenzel, Young Coach, 610 Deal Road.
Feels like we haven't heard from you yet tonight.
No, well, I was really excited by what I read in the paper, and I think looking at all that green looks terrific. But I'm getting more nervous while I'm sitting here and listening to all the details. That's making me scared. It's not as I read it. It's a little foggy. So I went to the planning board meeting on Monday, but based on really a lot of your recommendation, when I would come here and ask questions or complain about things that maybe had happened, and you'd say go to the planning board meeting. So I attended one on Monday. And what I found, things were just getting approved. I was kind of surprised because there were like 200 trees coming down on
Jackie,
it.
things weren't getting approved. I'm going to stop you for a second.
Jackie,
you asked questions.
Let me finish.
Because things were just not approved. We were there for 3.5 hours debating things.
Not on that. There were many applications.
Agreed.
Yes.
Okay.
The one was 200 trees, and 200 trees were going to be removed.
And how many were going to be added?
Landscaping was going to be added.
trees
I didn't hear how many trees she was adding.
Left that out. So they're paying their full amount that they need to pay.
Right. We're not talking about money. It's not about the money.
But the money. What does the money go for? As I told you at the meeting.
Yeah, for landscaping. But we've gone through that.
Not landscaping. It goes for trees.
Right.
Okay.
That's landscaping.
Yeah.
Notice.
I'm going to stop. Go ahead, Jackie.
Well, am I wrong?
Yes.
All right, so what kind of trees are you going to put? I don't understand.
You need to get into the mic.
Whatever the Shade Tree Commission recommends.
Well, Jennifer, the attorney, she said, we're going to pay for the trees.
Correct.
We can take down what we want.
She didn't say it that
she
way.
Said she kind of said it like
by
that.
the ordinance, she needs to pay for the amount of trees that are taken down.
Right.
That money then goes to a fund. The Shade Tree Committee is putting a recommendation together for where the trees will go in town with the money that they're paying.
Right, but it hasn't happened in the past in the same way it's been promised. Well, Toll Brothers, it seemed like there was a mystery where that money went with Toll Brothers. And
there was no mystery where the money went.
There was no mystery.
No mystery at all. The complaint at some point was it hadn't been paid yet, and then we showed you the resolution as to when it had to be paid, and it was paid.
And where are the trees?
Well, the money goes in. The Shade Tree Commission has X amount of, I don't even know how much money.
They have quite a bit in there, and
they decide. The Shade Tree Commission decides where they think the trees are best suited, and they make that determination, and they advise the town as to where they think the trees would be best, serve the best purpose.
Well, I guess when I left the planning board meeting that night, it seemed to me that there were plans that went through the approval process rather swiftly, and I was told by Jennifer, the attorney, the planning board cannot refuse our plans based on the trees because we're meeting the ordinance. We're just going to pay for it. But that is really for us who care about the environment. It's not about the money. It's about preserving the land as it is. And, I won't go too much into that tonight. But the thing that worries me is if this is going to the planning board and they're going to be seeing the original, what is the original to the public. I know you saw many renditions, but what we were shown. And it just gets approved. We all sit here like powerless, and the last time in 2005 when we had the Stop and Shop, the town, I mean, we did have our own traffic expert. I think you just said that now. Like, they had their traffic expert and we had ours. Are we going to, like, are you as the town with a lot of the people that feel this is going to really dramatically change our situation in the community the way it is there? And are we going to have a traffic expert there? Are we going to have an environmentalist? Are we going to have someone from the DP that's speaking on behalf of our town that this developer is not going to cause more flooding and damage the conditions that we have here today? I mean, are you going to have people, experts you're hiring, or does Save 2 Acres have to raise more donations to come to this meeting with the traffic expert and a planner? You know, these people that can speak on our behalf, that protecting our rights.
Okay. As objectors to an application, you have the right to produce testimony and to have experts like a traffic expert and or environmental expert and or a expert on drainage. The town has 2 experts that are there at every meeting, a planner and an engineer, Billy Fitzgerald, who knows a lot about drainage and deals with it on a regular basis. In the last hearing, many years ago, involving the Stop and Shop, I don't remember if Billy wasn't there or we just had this engineer, and I really don't remember, who also happened to have some expertise in traffic. And I can't remember whether it was from Mazer. I don't remember.
I think it was John Ray, maybe?
No, it wasn't John Ray. And whether the planning board has a traffic guy, but I'm telling you that traffic expert at that time, with a much denser development, felt that the traffic was going to be improved. So it's a horrible traffic situation, but it would actually improve with the changes that they were proposing in the traffic pattern.
So the developer will have their traffic expert at this planning board meeting that will take place in this room, not the high school.
Well, the only reason the other one was moved to the high school, much like the yeshiva case, is because we couldn't fit everybody in here. So if that happens, they'll have to move it to the high school.
So everyone will show up. If we get a big turnout of people, then we'll fill the room and you'll cancel the meeting for that night.
We're not in charge of it. It's the planning board.
I know. And
so the planning board.
It seems like they like to build.
Oh, God. You know, well, never mind. The planning board will have the hearing. If they determine that there's a fire safety issue, they'll make a determination as to whether the hearing should be put off and schedule somewhere else. But that'll be for them to decide.
I just feel they seem very agreeable. And you said that there was a traffic expert from the town the last time. Would we have, are we going to hire any experts for that meeting?
Certainly the town won't. Whether the planning board does or does not, I don't know. But the bottom line is that you are permitted, and you have all these objectors, and you're permitted to pool your money together and hire whomever you want. A lawyer, a traffic expert, a drainage expert. You can hire anybody. The town will rely primarily on Bill Fitzgerald and Jim Higgins, and then if they hire somebody else, they'll hire somebody else. I don't know.
I know. It's just asking everyone to dig into their pockets again, and they pay taxes to the town, and I think they wish that you would be on the same page as us in terms of
we're not on any page. We're not
approving such a tremendous development on wetlands and all the reasons we've gone over before.
No development on wetlands.
No, in wetlands territory, we know that. And just like the ladies were saying, the brook, it puts all that pressure. It all runs. The brook goes through there.
Sure.
So anyway.
So can I make one comment? Not because I can't talk about the development. I need to recuse myself on that. But back to your comment about the plans that were approved for the subdivision and the trees that were coming down. If I'm not mistaken, we made a recommendation to you, and the engineers made a recommendation to have you come to this meeting and bring up what to the council?
About the tree ordinance?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where you could be spending some time, if I may, and talking to us about what you think is better that way, instead of just complaining about what the planning board did, which I thought was very professional.
No, I'm just worried. I'm worried that we go there, it's going to go like, yes.
No. That's not my point. My point is, we made a recommendation for you to bring up to the council on what you think is a better tree ordinance.
Yes.
Correct? Okay, so let's spend some time, maybe not at this meeting, but let's spend some time, do some research, look at the tree ordinances the way they are, and come back with some recommendations for us, and we'll be happy to entertain them.
But perhaps we should have them in place before the planning
Let's
board
try.
meeting.
The sooner you read them and review them, the quicker we can put an ordinance in place.
Well, I have reviewed them, but I don't think we're going to, I mean, I have reviewed them.
Okay.
Some of them. I don't know if they've been changed since I've looked at them before, but.
I doubt it.
But what I did want to ask, I have it written there, to ask you, when we do these resolutions, this ordinance? Like, when can we open it up for review, and when can we make recommendations?
For
The tree ordinance. The way the tree ordinance is today, it's more about bringing money up. I would like to see perhaps.
When I was, Jackie, I'm going to let you talk again.
Can I just finish my statement, and then you can talk? The thing is that I can't, about money per tree and trees coming down and us not being able to affect that with a commercial development. I would like to see more restrictions from our town, and perhaps it's like percentage. They're not allowed to take more than a certain percentage of trees, even if they pay.
There is. So here's, when I first was on planning board in 1998, the tree ordinance was nothing like it is now. It was pretty much, trees in your way, take it down. That's how it was. And then it got a little more, folks are being more conscious about, hey, we're losing a lot of trees. So we went into a very restrictive tree ordinance. Probably, now I'm losing time. That's the only thing. I just don't remember the dates. I don't know if it was 10 years ago or 8 years ago, but it was challenged. But we had one where it was like one tree a year and you needed a permit for it. Well, then that was like people were paying $1 million for a house, and you say, you can't tell us what to do over there. We need to take a tree down for safety, or want a tennis court, want a pool. And listen, let's face it, it's America, not North Korea. We really can't tell people, you can't do this, can't do that. I'm sorry, North Korea. But the point is, then we changed it to like 3 trees on this much an acre. Anything over an acre, you need this. I mean, it's pretty restrictive, but we're open to other suggestions. But it's got to be reasonable. It's got to be fair for both parties.
Yeah, so when can we meet to review it, and then who has to approve it? Who approves the new tree ordinance?
You would make a recommendation. You would say, I reviewed your tree ordinance. Can I recommend that you change it to that? The council looks at your request, and then we'll talk with our engineer and our planner and say, is this something that's reasonable, realistic? Can this really happen? What's the pitfalls if we do this? Can we tell people they can't take a tree down ever again? All those things, because you devalue property by doing that too.
No, but 200 trees, when we're trying to save open space, and we were led to believe when we voted yes to open space tax that was going to be adopted. When I understood it was not binding, because this isn't what I do every day for a living, I thought you just meant it wasn't specific to any particular piece of land. But I understood if we voted yes, and you have that vote already,
right,
it meant it was a vote. We voted yes, we would have this open space tax. I didn't know you could go against a vote and not offer that now.
Well, I think because it was non-binding. Listen, we could put it in there. At this point, I'm trying to work it so we don't need to use it. We probably may have to.
Is this the last bit of land? You're saying if we
there's about
this 17 acres, or isn't anything else?
Of land still privately owned out there that can and probably one day will be developed.
But the thing is, it's a race against time right now, and time is not, say, 32 acres friend right now,
15,
because this has gotten moved up. This has gotten moved up, and we have people that are coming to us that will have money. I'm trying to pull together these opportunities to come to you with all of them at one time and say we have X amount from Monmouth County Conservatory, we have New Jersey Green Acres, we have this much money, and can we had hoped, I thought, with our open space tax, another fund to add to that we could actually buy some of this land.
Well, I'm trying to save
as a continuation of the park
without buying it, trying to work it so it doesn't cost us a nickel here. I mean,
but you're unsure of it.
No, I'm not really that unsure of it. I think it has to be a fair swap, and put yourself in their position. They're thinking, I'm saying this on air. They're going to review this tape. They think I'm giving them swap land. They want to make sure I'm not.
Mr. Mayor, I would say you're in the middle of a negotiation.
Let me work it.
Let it. Whatever happens, but it'll be known in a relatively short period of time.
It will be a big improvement if that happens. The commercial is on 35 as our master plan states,
right,
and it will not you know, because like I've always said, I think the library sitting in the middle of a parking lot for those urban style houses would have dramatically changed what you have set up already and is so beautiful and we all love. So I think if that happens, that's an amazing thing, and I applaud you for doing that. I just, having come from the planning board meeting on Monday, I'm very concerned about the stamping, rubber stamping process.
There was no rubber stamping, Jackie.
Okay.
And one other thing, the 200 trees, what did the engineer say about the quality of those trees? Go ahead, just so we're clear.
Well, they say whatever they...
No, they say the truth. What
Well,
did they
I don't
say
know.
on
I
record?
can't say because I didn't go and look at
They
those
said
trees.
the
A lot
overwhelming
of
majority
trees
of
get a
those
little
trees were
old.
not safe, and they were not should not remain there. Correct?
Well, it's not
I'm
people
sorry,
are
is that
walking
what-
through
That's
it.
what they said, right?
I didn't believe. I don't.
You don't believe
know.
it, but that's what they said on
They're
record.
saying what they have to
Okay.
say to get their plans through. I
No,
mean, I
our
think we should
engineer-
all be able
wait,
to.
Our engineer did the walkthrough. What
Yes,
did he say?
and our engineers all pass through an ordinance really quickly to get this development through. Everybody says yes to
Our
everything for
engineers
these
don't vote,
developers.
Jackie. I'm sorry.
You know, that's where I think we just draw the line. Don't bother.
Don't bother.
Yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't pay to respond to you, because if you sit there and you say everything's done just for the developers, when you look at all
We
the
have
different...
sat here, though.
Excuse me. When you look at all the different plans that were presented, starting with 280 units, when you talk about the entire thing developed commercially, so clearly, if they were doing anything to just get the thing developed and give the developer what he wants, we wouldn't be here today. This would have been approved 5 years ago, and we wouldn't be here. But instead, we're here today. This has been shrunk down. The residential part shrunk down even from what it was before, where they wanted 240 or 280 units. Now we're talking about potentially doing something else that would save that land. So yeah, you're right. The developer always gets what he wants, and we just fall.
I just
That-
watched
that's
the
your-
process, and the public didn't have a say.
The
What I'm
public
saying
has
is,
a say
and we
all
didn't,
the time.
at the point, all those other plans, they weren't exposed to us. We saw them when we saw what was presented to us.
All right.
We just want to be more involved, and I just feel like I'm just hoping that on this meeting, it doesn't just all get put through, and then we all sit here and say our prayers that Chris gets his deal through, because it just makes me feel very vulnerable on something that I feel like we're trying very hard to pay attention to and to be involved in the process.
All right,
So,
duly
anyway.
noted.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else? Well, I want to thank you all for coming. Seeing and hearing nobody else, make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Long.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Napolcani.
Yes.
Shephaka.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciano.
Yes, thank you. Meeting's adjourned. And we air twice a day at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Channel 22 if you have Files and 77 if you have Cablevision. And we're also online at any time after tomorrow morning. You can pull this meeting up on YouTube. Good night, everybody. Thank you to